Please remember to like, subscribe and comment, as we love to hear back from our viewers. Also, if you enjoy our videos, please consider becoming a patron of our show through Patreon and or GoFundMe. Links are listed below the video in the description. From the deepest, darkest recesses of Dangerous Nerds headquarters, Keith Moncrief and Gerry Kissell.
Hey everybody, this is Keith.
And this is Gerry.
And welcome to Pop Culture Minefield. Okay, so this week we're going to discuss everybody's favorite animated and toy adventure, He-Man.
Star Trek? Oh, He-Man.
He-Man. Look, there is I don't know if a lot of you out there have heard this, but they're going to make another attempt at making a He-Man motion picture. Okay, so the big news this week has been that there has been the announcement of a casting for the movie. And it's actor Noah Centineo of the, I think this is a series called To All the Boys I've Loved Before. And you said it was on Netflix,
It's on
right?
Netflix.
Okay. So, it's not something that I've watched, so.
I did, because I'm a father of a girl, so I watch stuff that I know she's going to like, and I didn't like it.
Well, it's not for you.
Yeah, it's not meant for me.
Yeah.
So it's okay that I didn't like it.
Anyway, Noah will portray He-Man. Now, you said that he's kind of a little on the thin side.
Yeah, that's been the ongoing joke I've seen today throughout the internet, is that he's not very bulky, and he needs to be beefy. And, of course, the picture I posted as a response was this scrawny kid working out, and from a movie, it's a little animated GIF, and even posted one of SpongeBob working out with his weights. But when it comes down to it, I'm not going to say they're vicious. This is just the expected kind of humor that you come to understand is going to happen when you have a small guy. But we got to remember, Christopher Reeve was a scrawny pencil neck. And if the internet had existed in 1977, he would have been mocked mercilessly until they saw the movie and saw that he had beefed up and worked out heavily. Got that big neck. And all of a sudden, people would have shut the heck up. And I imagine that's really what's going to happen with this kid.
Well, same thing for Henry Cavill. When he was in the movie The Count of Monte Cristo, he is not naturally a very big guy. He's actually really on the thin side.
Yep.
And now he's all kinds of huge.
Now he lives it, though. I mean, he really has become intense about working out. It's like the latest pictures of him are insane. He's almost twice the size he was when he played Superman.
Oh.
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
It's impressive, though.
Yes.
And I thank you, Eric Browns, for always posting cool Superman stuff with Henry Cavill.
Anyway, this is going to be a movie from Aaron and Adam Nee. This will be their take on He-Man.
That second name, what do we know him from? Anything?
Adam Nee?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're both known as filmmakers together. So it's another pair of filmmaking brothers. They're referred to as the Nee brothers. N-E-E.
We have left knee and then right knee.
and they're the ones behind such films as The Last Romantic and The Band of Robbers. Look, obviously,
Is that Asian cinema?
No.
I don't recognize those names.
Yeah, they're not Asian.
They're not?
They're not Asian.
How do they spell their name?
N-E-E.
Okay, I'm starting to have doubts that that's their real name.
I'm just giving it to you. I'm just
them and their little brother Weenie.
Look, I think I get the sense that these guys are a little younger, which means they would probably have been.
Well, they're probably gonna be making this for a younger crowd because He-Man. I mean, I watched it when it came out for one reason because I have a son, Benjamin. Hi, Ben. And Ben was a huge He-Man and She-Ra fan.
Yeah.
And I mean, running around the house all the time with a sword in his hand, whacking people. And he's still, to this day, a huge fan. He has an amazing collection.
Wow.
Have you ever seen any of his photos? I'll show them to you later.
Okay.
Just a huge He-Man and She-Ra collection. Just all over the house. Him and his husband, John, just amazing collection.
That is.
Hi, John.
I remember when that show hit. Again, I was a little too old for it, but I mean, I admired what they were able to accomplish and the fact that it's classic.
Well, they did rotoscoping in it too, which was really neat. That was reminiscent of the cartoon series of the 60s and 70s, like what was it? The Archie cartoons.
Yeah, well, that's all Filmation.
Yeah, and then of course Star Trek, where they did rotoscoping for that too.
So I mean, the great thing about Filmation, which you should know, if that company. I mean, you know, if you're old like us, you obviously are familiar with Filmation. If you're a little on the younger side, you should look this company up. It is the last great American animation company.
For Saturday morning stuff.
For Saturday morning stuff. They actually employed and had everything operate out of one building. That they did everything in. You can find, go to YouTube and look up the Filmation story, which is a documentary that'll teach you everything you really ever wanted to know about this company. But trust me, it's a good things.
I agree. Filmation occupied a lot of my time as a kid.
I think anyone our age is at least loved and enjoyed at least one Filmation cartoon.
Oh yeah, Star Trek was like one of my favorites. Yeah. And what I loved the story about that was when they needed a line from Shatner, and they couldn't find him. They went looking for him. They found him in a bathroom, and they recorded his audio in the bathroom of the building. It was hilarious. They just, and you couldn't tell. I've listened to everything from that show. And, I mean, some of the dialogue is delivered kind of deadpan, but you got to remember that Shatner and Nimoy weren't voice actors at the time. They thought the whole idea was stupid. They were just glad to be getting another check.
Yeah, this was barely even 5 years after
the
original. Yeah, because Star Trek hit the air, the animated series, in 1973.
Yep.
So it was the same year that Super Friends started, and I think originally was broadcast opposite Super Friends. So you had to make a decision back in the day.
Yes, we didn't have video recording.
That's right. So
no DVR.
So you had to decide whether you were going to watch Star Trek or you were going to watch Super Friends.
Yep, and then like hopefully catch the rerun on the other one you missed.
Yeah.
When that came around. But what I did like though was like once they got up to He-Man, they had really upped the ante because they understood that everything was about marketing and with toys.
Yeah.
And so there's a documentary on Netflix about the history of toys.
Yeah.
And they talk about that relationship with He-Man.
Yep.
And Transformers and things like that, where these toys, G.I. Joe too, became popular along with the release of the cartoons. The cartoons and toys were intermixed because it also instructed you how to play with the toys.
Wow.
The episodes were actual instructions for how to play with their action figures. So you could play out the stories. You knew what the characters were and all that stuff. I like that. But if you've never seen that one, The History of Toys on Netflix, it's a really cool mini-series, two seasons on Netflix.
Yeah, I think it's
Something Us or...
Yeah, The Toys That Made Us.
The Toys That Made Us.
And there's also another documentary about just the He-Man toys.
I saw that one.
And that was called, The Power of Grayskull.
Power of Grayskull. Great documentary.
Oh, that one. If you're a He-Man fan, in the least, you should watch that. It's going to give you everything you ever wanted to know, including the original look of the toys when they were first created, which is slightly different than what they eventually look like for the later.
Yeah, the evolutions are kind of weird.
Yeah,
you know,
fun.
because it's like some of it was really, really, really weird.
Yeah. Well, listen, that brings us to the end of another show.
What?
Yes.
Oh no! So once again, make sure to stick around after the credits to watch that video. If you didn't watch the one from the previous episode, it's the same video that promotes Graham Nolan's Kickstarter for Return to Monster Island. And
you want to see that? You want to see it?
Of course you do. It's like, who wouldn't want to read that book? And it's a sequel to another book that's called, what do they call it? Monster Island. Well, what are the odds of that?
Yeah.
The same name.
Yeah.
And then the second book called Return to. Graham, you're a clever dude, Graham. Yeah.
This is how that works out.
That's why Chuck likes working with you. All right, guys. See you next episode. Y'all come back now. You hear?
Y'all come back now, you hear?
Hi comics and monster fans, welcome to the Return to Monster Island Kickstarter campaign. I'm Graham Nolan. You probably know my work from my years of working at Marvel and DC Comics. I'm the designer and co-creator of the Batman villain Bane. I've recently partnered with my friends at Ominous Press to bring you the 20th anniversary edition of Monster Island. And thanks to all of the backers that supported the project, it was a great success, and we can finally bring to you the long-awaited sequel, Return to Monster Island. It's been 20 years in the making, and I think everybody's been patient long enough. Return to Monster Island is the long-awaited sequel to my original story, Monster Island. It's been 20 years in the making. I've always wanted to do the sequel and the subsequent sequels. This was originally an idea that had 4 story parts, and this obviously is the first one. 2 years have passed since the original adventure, and our heroes, Mac and Duke, are called back to action. When the Monster Island shows up on the Navy radar screens above the Bering Sea, it's a race against time to get there before the Russians. A group of aliens has taken over the island, and our heroes have to set things right before the island disappears once more. New characters, new monsters, and new dangers await you on the Return to Monster Island. Some of the great rewards for this campaign include Return to Monster Island in full color, a colorized version of the original Monster Island, commission art done by me, and lots of other great stuff. Thank you for joining us for Return to Monster Island. I hope you'll consider pledging your support to this campaign. I know with your help it'll be a huge success.